Welcome to Let's Talk Nation. I'm your man, Rod Love, and sitting next to me is the General, Attorney Greg Jackson. Once again, it's on, but hey, you don't have to get to say something. Man, everything is, man, I'm just blessed, man. How about you? You skipping over stuff. I'm skipping over stuff? Yeah, man. You spent this whole weekend putting together this nice new Let's Talk Nation setup, man. You know, man, don't be telling me. I mean, you, and I mean, we. This is a group thing. This is a team thing. Listen, all I do is just send the text message. Cool. Look good. Hey, Greg, man, I tell you, we've been blessed and just be able to communicate information, man. For those who are seeing this podcast, you're tuning in to put more customer voices into the podcast. Be dynamic duo, Brother Love, Greg Jackson. Guaranteed, Brother Love. The raise action 10-15 points. Listen, I got a great idea. We're going to talk about the job tonight. An idea that was brought to me, but we just want to welcome everyone to the show. We have some great topics that we want to hear tonight. But before we get to that, Brother Love, one of the things I want to also kind of jump into, and that we're going to jump into, honestly, is the importance of folks knowing what time it is. This is election season and things like that. And so we want to dedicate some time to talk a little bit about election and voter awareness and different things like that. So we want folks to make sure they're stay tuned for the end of the show so that they can hear and possibly be a part of what I show. Hey, Greg, with our executive producer, Dr. Lawson, and our illustrious engineer, the master for Armando, they keep saying that we got to be a little bit more time zone, and because we need to look at camera. But yeah, but you know, Greg,
says LTN, right? The one with the USB. Yeah, just turn it up. You heard it change? Yeah, it's up. I got it up all the way. That's not making a change. That's not making a change. Yeah, I got it up all the way. Yeah, because I should be seeing some type of signal coming through right now, right? I don't see no signal. I don't see no signal.
Yale University, having a part of being a part of HBCU, and it's kind of HBCU maintain their identity.
Yeah.
But as a part of that, the NAACP has called for athletes to boycott University of Florida for removing the DEI program for diversity, equity, and inclusion program.
Yeah, just not over here. Over here, I'm not seeing any signal coming through. Because that's the signal. That's the signal from the camera. Let me turn this thing down before you get it right. It spikes. All right, that's much better.
Boycotting, what they call, and this wasn't a phrase, and I don't know if it's any other folks in the
Yeah, it's coming through now.
So I just missed it, but I promise. The PWI, or predominantly white institutions, is what they call it. And so, we talk about PWIs in comparison to HBCUs.
Yeah.
For the most part, PWIs, their funding is much greater than the funding that comes into HBCUs, and not just from
So
the
what you
standpoint
moved it to the
of the monies that
mixed board.
come in for the number of students to go to these schools, because that's a part of their but the alumni. But I think that's where I was going to go with that, because when you look at some of the discussions has been the amount of giving.
To the straight. Give me 1 second. You look at the powerhouse for most
most schools, most universities, particularly with
Let me call you right back.
programs and that's their football programs, and the amount of money that these programs bring in that benefits everyone at the institution. And so to call for the NAACP to call for, African American or Black athletes to boycott predominantly white universities or to boycott the University of Florida, what opportunities are they asking these athletes to support those? I guess it comes down to question for them to act. I mean, think about that act.
So I'm seeing them hearing them in the studio, and then I'm also seeing them come through in the mixer. Is it that since you had it set up that way, you have to change it on vMix as well? Yeah, because I don't even see the mixer on there. Oh, I see it. There it is. Biscast. But I see speakers. I see speakers though. But you want the master input, right? Audio.
That's the big question of what it is. And with that being said, I guess it comes back to a question. Who's gonna come back to scholarship? Yeah. I mean, that is a major question with regards to scholarship. And if we're going to rely on ACB,
Check the audio, just straight audio, because I know you changed the audio outputs, but check audio itself. Audio input, yeah. For the most part, I give more money to towards savings than I do things. And I graduated from the cameras.
Why is that? And that's the time, that was the question that I had. So let's talk about why that is. One of the reasons why that is. Yeah. I saw him just reboot. That's right. I saw him just reboot. Hey, you don't want to turn that monitor because you tell me. Oh. That's what I'm supposed to do. We got not be doing so because we were. Yeah. I mean, we just gotta stay with what we know is function. Did you check it on your plate?
Yeah, but yeah, I can definitely hear it.
Okay.
Too.
All right, cool. So listen,
Hey, is it good now? All right, cool. Back to the show. What you want me to tell them? Just go from there. All right, cool. All right.
For the most part, because I went to Florida University, I went to University of North Florida, and I went to Florida University. I gotta ask you that question. Why? I mean, we talk about why did I go to those schools? No, not why did you go to those schools, but when it comes down to hey, when it comes down to giving, brother. Let me be convenient. Every year when it comes to this, I get phone calls. I get cards in the mail. I get letters thanking me for my contributions. I get updates to what alumni is doing at in the law school as well as in the college. So I feel more connected. To know what's going on with those people. When they call and they ask for money, my thing is, hey, what's me? But it's the level of connectivity that I have with FSU. Now, let's compare that to even University of LaPorte, which is another predominantly white institution. I don't think I've ever written a check. I don't think I've ever written a check to University of LaPorte. Part of the reason is I don't hear a lot of University of LaPorte. Football people come to my chair. The fact that I am sure and I'm certain these large universities, they invest in trying to be invested in. But let's talk a little bit more about this aspect because we were talking about the revenues that comes into these schools and money. For the most part, the lifeblood of these institutions. So if they don't have money, they can't build on the programs and different things like that. The fact that more white universities, let's say for the conversation, they're on television, they're getting television money, they're getting contracts, they have the big time players that are coming to play, so they're going to generate more money. And so let's talk a little bit about the money that comes into these institutions, particularly for sports. Why it is, I don't think it's easy for the NAACP to ask these athletes to forego an opportunity to play at. We use the word for when integral with. Pretty much. And so, if the NAACP asks them
Joe's European Quality Auto Repair.
Mercedes-Benz, BMWs, Jaguars, and Porsche. Joe's Quality Auto Repair specializes in European cars. Joe's Quality Auto Repair is located at 1240 State Road, 436 in Altamont Springs. Stop paying a king's ransom for your foreign auto repairs. Call Joe's Quality Auto Repair, mention Let's Talk Nation, and he'll beat certified dealership repair quotes by 30%.
I don't know, look at her. She's a crackhead. Figured she might have a weapon.
What did she try to steal?
I caught her trying to put this under her coat.
Community Resource Connector by CSG. Social.
So back to the conversation with what we were talking about.
Well, great. What we were talking about, man, is a lot of the sacrifice that these young men would be making if you decided you weren't going to go. And you know what? I will not ever tell anybody don't champion
Right.
causes that you believe in.
Right. But before we do that, though, Brother Love, we were talking about, we were shouting out some folks who joined us tonight, and we know that we're having a little bit of audio difficulty. And so you were mentioning someone, one of the first chief correction officers.
Oh, man, Miss Cornelia Riley, man. I mean,
Okay,
and when
all
you
right.
look at the fact that how she's developed leaders under her, but she's also still in the business of providing leadership training.
Absolutely. And
So-
listen, we were also talking about my aunt joining us.
Brunswick,
from
Georgia.
Brunswick, Georgia, that's right. And also Mr. Ricky Smith from Los Angeles. As we said, Let's Talk Nation is touching coast to coast. So we want to say we appreciate everyone for tuning in tonight. And we're having a conversation, or we started a conversation, we're going to be moving pretty quick about the NAACP recently called for athletes, so black athletes, so minority athletes at PWIs or predominantly white institutions to boycott those institutions based on a recent move by the University of Florida, and a move that Hall of Famer Emmett Smith, was very critical of removing funding for DEI or diversity, equity, inclusion programs. And so our conversation, Brother Love, has been, how feasible is it to ask these young athletes to forego opportunities for the exposure that they have at predominantly white institutions? And we were talking about even the numbers and, the money that is given to, donated to, raised by, generated by predominantly white institutions versus that of HBCUs. And the fact that, one of the top universities in terms of revenue is somewhere in the $250 million range, whereas the top university for HBCU is somewhere in the $28 million range.
Yeah.
And so that large disparity means that there is far more opportunities at predominantly white institutions. And so, in order for the NAACP to ask these athletes to forego those opportunities, what is the alternative? What other things can be offered to them if they decide that they're not going to go to a school that offers these resources, this exposure, and these opportunities?
What other alternatives is it?
Yeah.
Well,
I'll be back right after the show.
great. You're asking, and I'm just,
Yeah.
but you're asking a young person that has the opportunity. And come on, man, I'm going to also look at the likes of some folk who came out of UF. I know you are familiar with some legends from FSU.
Oh, yeah.
But an attorney that we both know that got opportunity at UF, and he's a trailblazer, and he's going to go down in history for settling the largest claim. And Greg, you know the rest of the story, the $1.2 billion.
With the black farmers,
Yeah, black farmers. And I'm talking about none other than attorney Greg Francis.
Right.
Think about how going there changed the trajectory of his life.
Well, listen, I mean, if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it. But let's take a step back. I mean, you have, one of the great attorneys that a lot of these lawyers have patterned themselves off of, including myself, in the form of Willie Gary, who graduated from Shaw University, from an HBCU. And dare I say, folks like Greg Francis and myself and even Ben Crump modeled themselves off of, someone like a Willie Gary. But how many Willie Garys are coming from, these HBCUs? And no knock on HBCUs, because I graduated from an HBCU. But when we talk about, an attorney that went to predominantly white institution, and had opportunities from there. We talk about Greg Francis going to University of Florida. All right, if we're going to talk about that, we also have to talk about attorney Ben Crump, who came out of the Florida State University. And so there are great opportunities that you have and that you can receive at a PWI and still be able to give back to the community.
Along the lines, and we're talking about opportunity, and I think, and you've been giving me some credit for segues. I want to stay here, though. I want to stay on this topic. But when we talk about opportunity, and based on what it is we're talking about right now, Greg, elections are coming up. Not telling anybody who to vote for, but, man, the value of walking into a voting booth and registering the value of your vote.
So let's talk about it this way, Brother Love. Let's kind of go down the importance of voting first, and because I think a lot of folks have forgotten the importance of their vote and their voice. And I have shamelessly been a person who has said that if you go to the voting booth or you go to the polls and you don't like either one of the individuals on the ballot, don't vote for either one of them. That has been me. But I've always said at least go out and exercise your
right to vote. Yeah.
And right now we're at a pivotal time, not just in the national election, which we'll talk a little bit more about that, but also locally, in that there are certain candidates in certain communities, who are purposefully neglecting the African American vote because they feel that black folks don't vote, Brother Love.
Well, but hold up, I can't let you skirt that. And we're gonna take our scars. Oh, I'm gonna take my scars if they're due. But just based on that, Greg, I gotta ask you because I know you understand this stuff. You know it. You study it.
Yeah.
Is that when you look at the data, a true statement?
Yes and no. Yes and no. For midterm elections and for elections in municipalities, with the exception of large races such as a mayoral race, for the most part, African Americans stay at home. That's just that's just the gist of what it is. But in the same breath, most other people stay home during those times. So that is not a circumstance that is new or unique to the African American vote, unless and until you have an opportunity to elect people who truly have a heart for the community. And then the question becomes, why does the black vote continue to stay home? And the answer to that question is multifold. But one of the primary things, or one of the primary reasons that we have voter apathy, because remember, brother, we've had this conversation. We've had people to call in, particularly when we were on the radio, and call in and tell us. We had to remember that one time we had a pastor that called in. And the pastor called in and he says that he doesn't vote and he doesn't encourage his people to vote.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And, the question was, well, why is it? And that's because a lot of people have lost faith in politicians. Because what we see is a lot of politicians that when they're running for office, they come around, you see them, they tell you all of the things that they want to do. And then once they are successful in winning that race or winning that seat, you don't see them anymore.
You don't see them anymore, yeah.
Except for when re-election comes around. And so voters, particularly the younger voters, because folks like me and yourself, we're going to go to the polls either way. We're what they call super voters. We vote in every single election. And I'm going to continue to go to the polls and vote in every single election.
I got a 21-year-old super voter that lives in my house.
But yeah, you got to vote at least about 4 times to be a super voter now.
You have
a budding super.
Yeah. But where I'm going though, Greg, is I get it, but here's the thing, man. The black vote is very diverse. When we say man, but let me explain what I mean when I say that though. Let me explain what I mean.
I gotta hear this.
When I say diverse, when we often talk about the black vote, I don't think the black vote is any different than the Hispanic vote to the extent because you got a population of Hispanics that live in communities that's challenging, but you got a population of the Hispanic vote, Greg, at the same time that are middle class and high income. So when I say diverse, I'm speaking from that perspective, but and my point So this
diverse
is
in
good.
demographics,
Demographics.
but not diverse in vote.
Correct.
Because anytime that any political party can, what's the word I'm looking for?
Oh, you thought that's where I was going?
Yeah, when you
Oh
said
no
the
no
black-
no
you said
no
the
no.
black
You,
woman's
oh,
diverse.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about diverse in the different walks of life
I
that
agree with
that
that.
black folk come from.
I agree with that.
But then now you're taking us down a path that we've had many a conversation.
But now, hold on, wait, because we may have a slight point of disagreement on this, because when you compare the diversity of the black vote to the Hispanic vote, I don't think that that's fair. Because the diversity of the Hispanic vote comes from the fact that they literally come from different countries. The Hispanic vote may come from Cuba. The Hispanic vote may come from Puerto Rico. The Hispanic vote may come from Mexico. The
Okay,
Hispanic
okay,
vote
my
may
friend.
come from
Okay, my
Venezuela.
friend. I challenge you on that. I challenge you on that.
you-
No.
you agree with me on that?
No. Wait, hold up. But here, I'm
Every
glad.
black
No.
voter in the US
Okay,
is from the US.
but okay, and I get it. But I'm glad you're going down this path, because this is a path, and I think a masterclass in how do you unify. Because Greg, look, when you look at what's the percentage off the top of your head that you would think African Americans register themselves affiliated with one party, one political party?
I would say probably 85 to 90% of African Americans will register as, I'll say 85% register as Democrats, and probably 10% independent, maybe 5% Republican. I could be off on that, but I know that the gist of that disparity in numbers is probably
Okay, and I was going to say somewhere in the neighborhood of 93%, but so we're in the same ballpark.
But see, you have to remember, you have the independent votes and how that vote
Correct.
in the black community is starting to grow.
Correct, but then going back to something you just said, Greg, we got Haitian African Americans here. From Haiti, we got what is it? We got from African.
Now let me ask this question:
What's that?
Do Haitian Americans consider themselves to be black?
I would say yes. I would say
You
yes.
want to call somebody?
But I would say
They would
yes.
consider themselves to be Caribbean. In much the same way
but-
that Jamaicans,
but-
in much the same way that
man, you know what?
Jamaican Americans would consider themselves
You know
to
what?
be
That's why we got to get that doggone telephone line working, because I disagree. I mean,
Caribbean. You gonna call a lifeline?
Hey, now I ain't calling a lifeline. I'm calling folk. Hey, I'm challenging folk to call in.
We got Let's Talk Nation on here right now. So Let's Talk Nation, what would Jamaican Americans, Bahamian Americans, Haitian Americans consider themselves to be? Do they consider themselves to be black or Caribbean?
I really love to hear the answer to that question.
And if Let's Talk Nation is as smart as we have touted them to be, they'll agree with me.
So, and I want some education. So, if you say Caribbean, does that?
All
right, man. Hey, you got me fired up now. You got me fired up.
Catch that.
Okay.
Think about it though. So back to the conversation now. So when we talk about Black Americans, from its fundamental sense, Black Americans would be folks who were born in this country, whose roots are not from another country, because you have some individuals whose parents are Haitian or are Jamaican, who they were born here, but their parents are from those other countries, and they still associate themselves with being Caribbean American.
I still want to know the answer to this question from a Caribbean
You know
individual.
who
Who is that?
We need to call Miss Sandra Fatme Hall.
That would be good, and we got that number. I wish we could.
Yeah, we need to call Miss Sandra Fatme Hall. How about that?
You know what?
What's Brother Armando doing?
Brother Armando. You know what? I'm gonna do that. I am gonna actually do that.
But why are you getting Miss Sandra Fatme Hall on the phone? So when we talk about the vote and the apathy of voters, particularly in the Black community, one of the things that is being talked about is the fact that Black voters don't trust the politicians that come in their communities, whether they are Black, white, Hispanic, or whatever you want to say. And so because of that, whenever voting time comes around, they just don't go to the polls. Who you got on the phone?
How are you doing? How are you doing? This is the queen of Orlando, of Pine Hills.
See,
Greg and I.
now you're trying to butter up.
No, I ain't trying to butter up.
Yeah, you are.
Greg and I are on air right now, and if you tell me you and
She has to.
well, I haven't put you on air yet.
She
So
has to resolve the dispute. That's all.
but we got an issue that we need you to resolve, and before, because you could have been in an uncomfortable situation, and before I put you on air, you good? You good to kind of settle this little tidbit between us? No, between Greg Jackson and I.
He about to be mad, y'all. Watch
We
this.
okay. We're gonna put you on speakerphone.
He's about to be mad right now.
Okay.
Hey, Miss Sandra Fatmy Hall, how you doing?
Oh, Attorney Greg Jackson, how are you?
I'm good. So listen, here's a question, Miss Sandra Fatmy Hall, and when we started talking about this debate, the only person we could think of to resolve this was you. Okay.
Oh, wow, I feel special today.
All right. So listen, Brother Love and I, we're talking about the apathy of black voters. And so as we were talking about the apathy of black voters, Brother Love said, that there's a diversity of voters in the black community. And so he started to name Haitian Americans, Jamaican. And so I said, well, hold on, Brother Love. I said, Haitian Americans and Jamaican Americans don't consider themselves to be black Americans, but Caribbean. Which
That's correct.
Well, hold up. You can't be. No, wait, hold up. Hold up. So you can't be. No. Greg is standing up in the studio, raising his arms in victory. So.
Oh.
But Attorney Jackson framed the conversation. You didn't catch him. What he did was.
This is why we talked about it.
No, but you framed that. You framed that
the right way.
Well, so Ms. Fatny Hall, I guess the question I have is: do Caribbean individuals consider themselves black?
So yes.
Okay.
So here's the thing.
Hold up. Okay. Hold that. No. You hold that phone. No. You hold that phone.
Fair play. Go ahead. Now he raised his hand and said the Fatmy Hall. Now correct him. Now so I can raise my hand again.
Okay. Hold on. So let me say this. We are a very proud group of individuals, culture-wise, right? Culture-wise, let me say that. Culture-wise, we're extremely proud. So when the census came out, we do have Caribbeans that wanted us to be identified based on where we're from, right? So if the heritage, let's say you had a child that was Jamaican parentage and was born here, they wanted to claim that particular person as Jamaican, right? Having a Jamaican heritage, but more specifically, they really wanted, if they were born outside of the country, to be given credit for the number. That's how we figured we would count the numbers.
Okay, Ms. Fatny Hall, and you know Greg and I love you. You know we love you. So whichever side this thing lands on, we still gonna love you.
Oh Lord, I'll still be good, right?
You'll still be good.
I don't know.
Hey, but here's the question I have for Attorney Greg Jackson, and I want you to listen to this. I can recall, Greg, when I'm filling out different applications or things of that nature, it has B, it has W, it has H, and A for Asian.
C.
So when a Caribbean, do you ever see C, Greg?
No, Caucasian. Okay. I think I saw Caucasian, but I've never seen Caribbean. So no, we've never won that battle.
But what do you consider yourself to be, though?
I consider myself to be black.
All right. So the issue.
Doc, zoom in. Hold on 1 second.
Listen.
Doc, zoom in, Doc.
So I will concede that Brother Love was correct in this regard.
Hey, but you know what? Hey, thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doc. But Ms. Fatny Hall, let me say something about you and your leadership, which is unmatched by anybody as it relates to getting out in the community, getting people mobilized. And here's something, Greg, that I'm gonna tell you seriously. I envy the Haitian community because when they mobilize, they can come together like, man, I have not seen, as it relates to black folk mobilizing and coming together. Yeah, we do. We can, and I hate when there's a tragedy and we come together, but we had man, Rod, I can't remember his last name now, man. He was running for State House that came into the studio. But you know him, Miss Fatny, don't you?
Yes, I do.
I can't remember. But you mentioned Haitian Americans, but also Jamaican Americans.
Jamaican Americans, yeah.
Also, Bahamian Americans.
Oh, not Darius Wade.
I can't remember his name, but great. When he came on the show, the Haitian community around the country
I know who you're
tuned
talking
in.
about, and I cannot remember.
Yes, I do too.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, and so I use that as an example when I also talk about the leadership that Ms. Fatny Hall is exhibiting in District 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, not. I mean, listen.
Well,
You want to restrict her to an area, but just the work she does in general with
you know what I'm
young men
doing.
and young women.
You know what I'm saying. Hey, Miss Fapney Hall know what I'm saying
Yes.
too.
Oh, true that. True that.
But Miss Fapney Hall, hey,
Yes, sir.
we appreciate you just allowing us to pull you into this.
Yeah, thank you for
Oh,
resolving this.
always.
We knew you could do it if nobody else.
Hey,
Yeah. Always.
while we have you on, can you let folk know your organization? I know you have something coming up and you're taking
Yes.
donations.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. You know, the dynamic duo is on. So here we go. Here we go. United Foundation of Central Florida, formed 10 years ago, is having their 10th anniversary, 10-year anniversary of celebrating and empowering communities one family at a time on Friday, March 15th at the Rosen Center Hotel, located at 9840 International Drive. And we're fundraising for our young people. So we're encouraging everyone that's listening to the sound of our voices, and they are interested in helping our young people to continue changing the trajectory of their future, helping our young people to make great choices and go down the right path. It would be great for them to support the United Foundation of Central Florida, because we've been doing it for 10 years. And they can do so by logging on to www.unitedfoundationcf.org. The young people are looking to see them. They're looking to see who's supporting them. And I promise you, number of them will be there to say thank you for your support, right? And I'm telling you, I am so super duper proud of them and the work that they've done, and just watching them grow. Changing the graduation rate from 50% to 90% is no easy task. And I see the dedication. Thank you. I see the dedication and the determination in these young people. We have 7 of the top 10 in this year's graduating class, right?
Wow.
So we're super proud. 7 of the top 10 in the graduating class. So come out and support March 15th. That's at the Rosen Center Hotel. Right? It's an opportunity for them to mix and mingle. It's going to be an outstanding crowd, and there's lots of networking. We have silent auctions. We have a lot going on. You don't want to miss it. If you have any questions personally, please call me at 770-789-7004. Thank you both for this opportunity, and let's talk about Friday.
Give that number one more time so people can go ahead and catch it.
Thank you so much. It's 770-789-7004, and I'd like to shout out Doc.
All right. Hey, Ms. Fapney Hall, we appreciate you, Greg. I did get the email from or text from Ms. Fapney Hall. I'll go ahead and we'll team up and do something.
Take care of it, yeah.
Thank you.
Hey,
we appreciate you both.
Hey, appreciate you. Keep up the great work you're doing.
Thank you so much, and thank you all for the opportunity. And I hope I was able to help. That was the purpose, right?
Hey,
No, you did. Listen, we had an issue. I mean, you know, and that's what this is all about. We're trying to make each other better. So
Well, and you know something, Greg? Ms. Fapney Hall basically has helped us with the inauguration of, on each show, we need to call somebody to resolve our disagreement.
That makes sense. I think so. I agree with you 100%. So I'll tell you at the end of the day, just in closing, if I may take a point of personal privilege to say that when it comes down to it, we do all check black. Right? Because at the end of the day, even though we'd like to be recognized as a Caribbean community, and there's a Caribbean caucus and all those different things, at the end of the day, we are black.
There you go.
And
there you go.
That's usually the choice that we have.
Well, hey, thank you, Ms. Fapney Hall. Can you give a shout out to encourage people to go vote?
Oh, I'm sorry. Say it again.
Can you give a shout out to encourage people to go vote before you sign off?
Oh, good Lord. Listen, your voice is your vote, right? If you are not voting, your voice is not being heard. Don't sit on the sidelines and complain and think that, oh, that person is popular, or that person may have it. That's not what works, right? Voting changes things, right? And we're not telling you at the end of the day who to vote for. We're telling you to go exercise your right to vote. Why would you have so many registered voters and you only have less than 20% in some areas showing up to vote? That absolutely makes no sense.
Boy, we got to get hell on a commercial.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Ms. Fapney Hall, thank you once again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you all.
Take care.
Have a good night.
Good.
All right,
Bye-bye.
So we got off a little bit because we had to resolve that issue. And listen, I think that we need to have a dollar friend to resolve our issues. I like that. But sorry. So you're saying that the black vote is a diverse vote because of the various individuals that make up the black vote, much like the Asian community, much like the Hispanic community. But
absolutely,
the bigger issue though for the black community is that I say 85%, you say 93%, but it is a big percent, whatever it is beholden to a single party, and that single party seems to be forgetting the needs of the African American community, and that party being the Democrat Party. So much so that I, as a Democrat, Brother Love, every single year, I'm trying to figure out, has the Democratic Party heard what is taking place in my community and is willing to address what's taking place in my community?
Look, Greg, I guess, and here's what I'll say, and again, I always turn to let the data speak for us. But I got to ask the question, Greg, does the Democratic Party rely on the fact that at the end of the day, they don't believe that black folk will go vote Republican?
You don't have to finish that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because anytime, and this is sad that I can even say this, and I don't know if my brothers or sisters on the other side of the aisle can say this, but I once heard somebody say, Brother Love, as sad as it is, and I've told this to Let's Talk Nation before, I once heard somebody say that if Jesus Christ was a Republican, I wouldn't vote for him. And when I heard that, Brother Love, that sent chills through my body, because now people have made politics more powerful than their own religion. The thing that is supposed to save and sustain us, and now politics has become their savior when they say that. And whether they're saying it tongue-in-cheek or not, it's a ridiculous statement to say that just because a person is a certain political party, you would not listen to what they have to say. And that's one of the problems with the black community, is that many people, even Republicans, believe there's no need to go into the black community because they're not going to listen to me. And now Democrats are saying there's no need to go into the black community because we have their vote no matter what.
But you know what? I guess, Greg, that sums it up, man, and it's sad to say, and I guess this is a good segue. We got about 5 minutes left on the show. Let's Talk Nation is hosting, and we want to thank Pastor Saberio with Oasis Church. But we're hosting a forum. We're not telling anybody who to vote for, but we're hosting a forum for candidates to come in and kind of go ahead and tell you their position.
Listen, Brother Love, in the barest sense of the word, what a forum is an opportunity for people to spread a message or to get a message out. And so this forum, and one of the reasons why we're doing it, Brother Love, just to be fully transparent, is that at one point in time, I was a political candidate. And as a political candidate, I worked very hard to get my message out so that people would know who I am, what I stood for, and what my plan was to lead. And so, being who we are and multiple people coming to us in the community, and when we say multiple people, Brother Love, I want folks to be very clear about this. It wasn't black folks, it wasn't Hispanic folks, it wasn't white folks, it was all of those people coming together and saying, hey, listen, we really want to hear more from these candidates. We haven't heard enough from these candidates. We haven't had a chance to hear from these candidates. And so we decided that we would host this event, and to give people an opportunity to hear from the candidates, what their position is.
You're right. And so this forum is taking place tomorrow from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. It's going to take place at the Oasis Church in Apopka, Florida. And we're encouraging everybody to come out, listen to the candidates. All of the candidates have been invited. And
I'm going to say this, Brother Love, because I've heard that there were a few candidates who have opted not to come. One candidate actually said that he works from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. or 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. or something like that, something ridiculous. Which, listen, I get it. If you don't want to come, you just don't want to come. But I think that this person doesn't want to come because he believes that the event that Let's Talk Nation is putting on is going to be a black event. And that's the feeling that I get. And if that's that person's view, that this is going to be an event for black people to come out and hear what they have to say, and I'm going to just say it, Brother Love, I think that's a racist view. I'm just going to say what it is. Because this is not an event, we just happen to be black. We just happen to be black, and we are putting on the forum for the community. And for someone to assume that's the only reason why, because this particular forum is taking place
At a Hispanic
church in a predominantly white area,
Mm-hmm.
so that all people in the community can come out and hear the views of the candidates. So I want to say thank you to the candidates who are, brave enough to come out and talk to the rest, because they're not talking to us.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I have one vote, you have one vote, and so they're not talking to you or I, or they are potentially, but they're talking to a group of individuals who can get their message out. And so again, I want to say, and I don't know who all, how many are coming tomorrow?
2 candidates out of 4.
2 candidates out of 4?
Yeah. Did you say any more? I mean, at the end of the day, again,
Let me ask this question.
the invitation is out there.
Let me ask this question. We had a conversation about 2 weeks ago about some interesting stuff that's been posted on Facebook, things that I think are somewhat divisive. All right, without giving any names, but I don't want to do that part. But is one of the candidates who's not coming one of the individuals who was a part of or referenced in or in any way related to the Facebook posts that were questionable at best?
Short answer, yes.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Yes.
As I said, for anyone who doesn't come to this forum because they think that this is just an event by 2 black guys for black people, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I'm very sorry.
And Greg, before we sign off, man,
What?
there's been 4 forums
Yeah,
that have taken place.
yeah.
We just got a lot of engagement from a number of people.
Who haven't been able to attend forums.
Yeah.
Or who haven't heard enough from these candidates.
And by chance, we just happen to be a certain color that folk think because we are, that is our draw. Man.
Listen, Brother Love, let's give them the benefit
Oh,
of the
man.
doubt.
I will, because that hasn't even registered. I mean, we're
Listen,
looking for the entire community to come out.
Listen, Brother Love, listen, man, I've been around a long time, man. I've been around a long time. But I will say this also. There was one candidate that thought that he was being invited to talk on the show. That was not the case. Listen, you got to do a whole lot. And Brother Love, excuse me for being Greg Jackson for a second, but I don't really even talk to local candidates. Am I lying?
You're right.
When Brother Love tries to bring local candidates to me, I'm just like, I'm not interested. I deal more so with state and federal candidates, so we were not asking any of these candidates to come on this show. They can come on and sit down. They come on and sit down.
They can come on and sit down. Hey, but you know what, Greg? We
They come
need
on and sit down.
our
They can't come
forum.
talk to me.
Our
I'm
forum
just
is
saying.
open. But you know what? One of the things that we're not doing is we're not saying who did what when.
No,
The
I don't
forum.
wanna do that. No,
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
don't wanna do
The forum is open tomorrow for all of the candidates, and when I say there's going to be a level of civility
Oh, absolutely.
and objectivity. I mean, we're not telling people who to do anything.
Well, Brother Love, to that extent, I hosted a forum at a church where Christine Moore came out. What was her name? I'm sorry, I forgot her name. Patricia Rump came out, and there were people in the audience who started to heckle the candidates. And I told them right then and there, that is not this forum.
Correct.
It doesn't matter who I support or who I like or who I don't like. What you're not going to do in this forum is you're not going to disrespect this process. And so, to the same degree, tomorrow there will be civility, there will be respect, there will be an opportunity for people to hear for themselves from the candidates, and that's all this is about.
Hey, and I think that's the best note to close on, Greg. The clock on the wall tells us all, my friend, you do not have to go home.
But you got to get out of here.
Hey, please come out to the forum tomorrow night from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Oasis Church. Hey, thank you for joining Let's Talk Nation.